Hey everyone, today we're going to talk about the meaning of the Mahā Mṛtyuñjaya mantra. Om Trambakam Yajamahe Sugandhim Pushtivardhanam Urvarukam Iva Bandhanam Mrityur Mukshiyamamrita. So, what is the purpose of this mantra? Primarily, Mṛtyuho Mukshiya Mamritat. This is for protection from untimely death or calamity. Death is inevitable for everyone, but this mantra ensures that we get the most out of life. We suck the nectar out of life before we leave this world. And so it is designed to be, it is chanted when people are sick, when people are faced with great trouble and great calamity that looks like it may preclude our time from this planet. And one chants this mantra, which is an excerpt from the Shri Rudram, a longer mantra from the Rig Veda. One chants it to protect from untimely death and suffering and also disease. Mṛtyuho Mukshiya Ma Amritat. And also for sucking the nectar out of life, but the nectar, the word for nectar in Sanskrit is amrita, but it also means immortality. Nectar and immortality are the same word. And so the greatest nectar, the greatest enjoyment is being one with your immortal self. So the nectar of enlightenment, which is immortality. This is also chanted for if you have issues in your horoscope. So it's one of the primary mantras that Parashara, sage Parashara, gives for people who have certain horoscope afflictions. Those include being in a period of Saturn, a period of Rahu, having Gulika on your ascendant. If you don't know what these things are, consult a good Vedic astrologer and they'll be able to tell you. So let's get to the meaning. Om. All mantras or many mantras start with Om, invoking this idea that we are connecting to the divine. Now, not all mantras have this because some mantras are not intended for sort of spiritual advancement. They're more for material and personal advancement. But Om indicates this is intended for a higher purpose. Triambakam. This refers to Shiva, who is either three-eyed, but Amba also means mother. So the more common meaning is the three-eyed one, meaning that the third eye, the pineal gland, is completely open. And with the third eye, you can see past, present, and future. And the one who is able to see the past, present, and the future, who knows our good deeds, our bad deeds, and ultimately who is ultimately forgiving, like the three mothers. And these three mothers also refer to the Shaktis. Shakti is a feminine term, and in Vedic philosophy, Ichcha, Jnana, and Kriya Shakti are the three forces of nature: the force of will, the force of wisdom, and the force of action. So we worship the three-eyed one who is sees past, present, and future, and who is perfectly balanced within the three Shaktis, Ichcha, Jnana, and Kriya. Yajamahe, we worship. So you see, immediately, it doesn't say I worship. So this mantra was meant to be done with others. You do it together. And in a second, I'll tell you one of the best ways to get the most out of this mantra is to do it in a certain way. We'll get to that in a second. But Yajamahe means we worship. And often you'll see groups of people chanting this mantra in different contexts, with the fire or in a vow. I've even chanted this in a, 24-hour vow where you don't sleep and you just do it nonstop. And you sleep if you really need to, but the people around you keep going, so it builds this wave of energy. And of course, during Shivaratri, the night of Shiva, this is chanted nonstop as well. So it's a communal thing. And because it's communal, you build up energy that you can send to others who need healing. You can send it to your pet, to your grandmother, to your father who is ailing, to your wife or husband who's having a difficult time. As you build up this wave, you actually can send it. You have a superpower to send it to others. Sugandhim. Su means good or sweet. Sugandhi means sweet smelling. So Shiva, even though Shiva lives in a graveyard and, he doesn't shower necessarily, he's Sugandhim. Why? Because he's fragrant with, his body is completely free of mala, which is waste. And he's utterly fragrant because he lives in the immortal realm, in the immortal state of enlightenment. And Gandha, the sense of smell, also relates to Muladhara chakra, our root chakra, or chakra, as whatever you like. It's chakra, actually. And so by awakening our Muladhara chakra, we become fragrant, the fragrance of being awake and centered in the earth, to honor the earth element. And when you yourself become fragrant to yourself, it means you have fully connected to the earth. The earth has accepted you, and you are connected with the dharma, with the processes of the planet. So this is a wonderful mantra for helping to heal the planet as well, because it invokes this sense of connecting to the earth, which Shiva ultimately is. He's connected to the earth, the mother, and he is connected to the sky, the father, and he's one with them both. Pushti Vardhanam. Pushti is nourishment, Vardhanam is increase. So who nourishes us? Because let's face it, when you're starving, when you haven't had sleep, it's hard to be spiritual, right? But when you connect with Shiva, who is the deity of this mantra, you become nourished with something else. And so your hunger goes away, your lack of sleep goes away, and you feel like you're one with that wave. You become one and nourished by the recitation of this mantra. Urvarukam iva, like a cucumber or a melon, meaning a cucumber that's hanging and ready to be plucked from the vine. Bandhanat, pluck me from bondage. The word is bandhanat, but in the mantra it becomes bandhanan because it's followed by a nasal. From bondage. Mṛtyuñjaya mukṣiya, out of death or from death and into liberation. Death means the state of decay, the state of being in a state of mind that is corrupt, that is destructive to yourself, to the planet, to people around you, to your relationships. Out of that state of decay, please liberate me into freedom. And never let me be released, ma amritat, from nectar. Now again, as I said, the word nectar is the same as the word immortality, meaning release me from the petty state of mind, from the petty state of existence that is destructive to the earth, destructive to my relationship, destructive to my body, to myself, and take me to immortality. So, what is a deeper meaning? Well, first of all, as I mentioned, this comes from a longer mantra called the Shri Rudram, one of the great Rigvedic mantras that are chanted constantly at some ashrams for protection. And one of the effects of this mantra, and I know someone who practices it, and she woke up in the middle of the night and in a deathful fright, and she started doing this mantra for her son. And a couple of days later, she talked to her son, and he said at the exact time they figured out that she had woken up, he had just avoided a deathly accident. He would have died. He would have been crushed in a car accident. But the fact that she woke up seconds before that and began chanting this mantra, he barely, by the skin of his teeth, avoided a deadly accident. The power of this mantra is that you have the ability to protect and to send it to others as well, to help heal others. And time and space don't matter. So you could send it to people around the globe. You can also send it to people who are your relatives and ancestors who have died, who are no longer in this world. It goes beyond time. I know this sounds crazy, and well, yes, it sounds crazy. But practice it and see if you can heal your relationships, even with your ancestors, your mother and father, if they've passed away. You can heal your relationships, perhaps even with future incarnations. If you focus it all depends on how you focus it. But the deeper sense of this mantra is that it is Mahādeva. Mahādeva means the great Lord, the great shining being. And Deva comes from Div, which means to shine. Mahākala, the Lord of time. And this is an image of Shiva, who is the Lord of time, and time decays us every second. We all think that we're going to die at some point, right? When I'm 80, when I'm 100, when I'm 500, because I'm using cryogenics and I'm taking NMN and I'm taking all the latest stuff. I'm going to live, at least 120. No, death is here right now. There are molecules coming into existence and winking out of existence every second, every millisecond. Your cells are dying every millisecond and being reborn. Death and regeneration are with you right now as you're reading and listening to this. And so by doing this mantra, you are connecting to that process to make the Grim Reaper, or to turn Mahādeva from a Grim Reaper into Shiva. Meaning, the Grim Reaper is this thing we dread, but it can be, his other face is Shiva. We make him the Grim Reaper the way we perceive him. If we perceive him as someone who is auspicious, the word Shiva means auspicious, then he becomes our friend. And when Mahākala becomes our friend, we understand when it's our time to go. We understand we're okay with letting go of relationships that no longer work in our life, with habits that no longer serve us, with modes of thinking that are no longer useful. Mahākala becomes our friend, and he says, look, it's time for you to release the cigarettes. It's time for you to release this boyfriend. It's time for you to release this idea that binds you, right? Bandhanat, out of bondage into immortality. This is the power of this mantra. It's tremendous for getting over any kind of untimely suffering, which is what an addiction is, something that doesn't help you anymore. You started to drink and it felt good, but then you became addicted to the alcohol. It served you for a day, but then it's enslaved you for a lifetime. Shiva comes, Mahākala comes and cuts that like a cucumber, cuts that addiction from you so you can be free. And so this is the essence of this mantra, so that you can truly realize the power and of Om Namaḥ Shivāya. You really become able to understand Mahākala as Shiva, who is the auspicious one, and he becomes your friend. So how do we do this? Well, you can recite it any time of day, 9 times, 27 times, 54, even 108 times, especially during times of need. But when you do that, you will perhaps not have built up the necessary energy to make it powerful enough to help you during those times of need. So, better yet, try reciting it every day at sunset. Sit down and do it 108 times. If you can't do 108, do 54. If you can't do 54, do 27. 108 repetitions will take about 20 to 30 minutes. That's it. That's it. It's very fast. Now, if you truly want to evoke and invoke the power of this mantra in a way that is visceral, that it creates a palpable change in your physical environment, the home that you live in, the body that you live in, then you do it with a homa, with a fire offering. So every day at sunset, offer one little bit of ghee, teaspoon of ghee, into the fire. And you say, Swaha, Om Trambakam Yajamahe Sugandhim Pushtivardhanam Urvarukamiva Bandhanam Mṛtyur Mukshiyamamrtat Swaha. And as you say Swaha, you offer the ghee into the fire. Then next, Om Trambakam, like that. Yajamahe Sugandhim Pushtivardhanam Urvarukamiva Bandhanam Mṛtyur Mukshiyamamrtat Swaha. And you keep going. You keep going until you create this powerful wave that completely purifies you, and you do it for at least 2 months. Then, another optional way is to recite this during the Saturn Hora. This is the hour of Saturn. This is optional. If you're doing this, you don't need anything else. Now, once you do the fire, you can also optionally follow with the 108 names of Shiva. And this helps to create this relationship of Rudra, Mahakala, Mahadeva, to turn your relationship with the Lord of Death into a relationship with a friend as Shiva. And finally, meditate on sending these effects to the people in your life. As I mentioned earlier, there is no distance. As you do this mantra, you can close your eyes and allow an image of a person, place, or thing to come into your mind, and you can send that mantra in its vibration to that person, place, or thing, and see what happens.